And that was the rich display of our cultural tradition all the way from the Menchia Palace. The Asantehene Otumfuo Osei-Tutu II, adorned with black, which signifies mourning, displaying his skill in dancing in public right there, given the appellations by the people who surrounded him over there. You saw still here on Ghana Month. Don't forget the Asantehene is the title of the monarch of the Ashanti people and the ceremonial ruler of the Ashanti region of Ghana. The Asantehene is also the tutelar ruler of Kumasi, the capital of the Ashanti region. Don't forget that the first Asantehene was Osei-Tutu Opemso, who was crowned in 1701. The Asantehene is said to get his power from the golden stool, which is the most important symbol of the Ashanti culture. The current Asantehene, like I said, is Osunfuo Nana Osei-Tutu II, who's also held the title since 1999, in case you didn't know about that. Don't forget that his official residence is the Menchia Palace, which is situated in Kumasi. The Asantehene is highly revered in the Ashanti region of Ghana, and the Asantehene, his role is to settle, issues of the entire kingdom, and also make sure that he takes care of disputes. He's established a foundation that is doing pretty well for the people of Ashanti and across the country as well. So that's, in a nutshell, what you need to know about the Asante Kingdom and the Asante people. Of course, the ruler, Otumfuo Osei-Tutu II, you saw him display over there. And it's all about celebrating our Ghana Month in a very beautiful, beautiful way. That brings us to this segment here on News Flash, and it's proudly brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise, still phones Papa Pathie. This morning we entreat you to go there and get some gadgets for yourself. Those of you out there who want to get all the phones and refrigerators and the televisions and the ACs, air conditionings, you can also go there and get one of those. Now, don't forget that it's all for high quality, and customer service is always one that you will never, ever forget. And so please do well and go there. Give us a call on the numbers you see on the screens, and please do not pick numbers on social media to talk to us. Call the numbers that you can see on your screens this morning, and that's the number that you can call us anytime, any day, and speak to us. Franco Trading Enterprise is also available on Google Play Store. Download the app and you're good to go. It's the Franco Trading app, and once you download it, you've got Franco Trading Enterprise in your hands. And our website is www.francotrading.com, and that's how you can also connect with us by way of our website. Please do well and purchase something. We're giving you a 40% discount on all the accessories you buy from us, and so yes, be in a hurry and grab that opportunity to also own something for yourself by getting a whopping 40% discount. And that's Franco Trading Enterprise, making sure that you get to celebrate the Ghana Month in a beautiful way. All right? Great stuff. Let's move on and talk about some of the things we're looking forward to this morning. Do not forget, we're going to be looking at the front pages of the newspapers this morning and what there's been the reports on that. And also, our big story this morning, we're looking at the issue of the NSS and Gift Your Warriors return to the country. We're going to be looking at her invitation at the NIB. We believe that she's been given bail, and so we'll take a look at that also as well. Now, don't forget also that Martin Kebu spoke about her release and said that if she's not released in 48 hours, which is the normal procedure in terms of people who are invited to answer to questions, he will be tempted to actually even represent her in court, and she would even likely ask her to sue the government. We'll look at that also. Now, tomorrow, there's going to be the presentation of the 2025 budget. The finance minister is very hopeful and, looking forward to that presentation. Before even that, he's visited a couple of places, went to the Mokola to engage with the women over there, had an access session with the millennials yesterday on X, formerly known as Twitter. And he's been very positive about what this budget will do for the nation. He says that we are on our path to recovery. We're going to be looking at that conversation also here on the show. I am Adon in my Kente, and I'm representing the Ashanti region this morning. Going to be a little beats over here and over here as well. Make sure you wear Ghana as you make your way to your offices, to your business places, wherever you go, and have a little bit of Ghana in you. It could be what you're wearing. It could be what you're eating. It could be the music you're listening to. Let's make sure that we'll put some Ghana in us as we celebrate the Ghana month. Okay. Your messages, you can send them to our WhatsApp line. It's very active. We're streaming live on Facebook, so you can also put your messages over there in real time. I'll come and read them here on the show. So please do well and be a part of the conversation this morning. Before we get into our major topics, we're going to go into the front pages of the newspapers that I have over here. And I've got Daily Graphic with me. And on the front page, it says 2025 budget tomorrow aims to address hope, aspirations of citizenry, and it has Dr. Kesel Ato-Forson, the Minister of Finance, captured over there. And away from that, President Mahama begins visit to Alliance of Sahel States, makes first stop in Mali, and he's got the president captured in a photograph with the president of Mali, General Assimi Goita, who is the new transition president, and they are have been engaging on a few things. Now, away from that, Fiman Bank unveils 500 million Ghana cedis collateral-free loan package for MSMEs. That's also on the front page of the Daily Graphic this morning. Closed down cement factories producing substandard products. Trade Minister authorizes GSA. That's also some story on the front page of the Daily Graphic. At the back page, I had subdue young apostles, and Kotoko honor late fan with victory. And yesterday in Kumasi, Kotoko played against Legon Cities, and it was a beautiful game. And we are on our way to patronizing our own Ghanaian football. And we're hoping that as it returns, the Premier League would continue to support the Premier League and make it even way better than it has always been. And yesterday, that game was very, very emotional, knowing very well that there had been the passing of Napoli. And if you follow that story very well, you know that he was a diehard fan of Kotoko, lost his life during the game. And it's never been the same. And so, yes, we honor him, his memory, and Kotoko doing exactly that, winning that game, but just to make sure that they put some smiles on the faces of the fans out there and the memories of the man, the indefatigable, I put him, Napoli. All right, so that's what it is. Mediama also fight back to beat Bechem United, and those were some matches that went on yesterday in the Premier League. The Daily Graphic Sport reporting on all of that. We go to the Ghanaian Times this morning. On the front page, it says groundbreaking research in Burili ulcer. KNUST done invest diagnostic 2, first of its kind in sub-Saharan Africa. That's quite incredible. And it's got Dr. Michael Frimpong in a research lab captured over there on the front page. Away from that, Education Minister calls on Indonesia to establish Islamic Medical University in northern Ghana, and has Haruna Idrisu over there. President embarks on good neighbor lines, labelingness trips. Page 11 has got a story, and he's met the president of Mali already. He's got a few others to do. And Mr. Simon Majeri is captured over here, and it says Ghana open for business, a new dawn for investment, economic prosperity. This has got a story on that as well. So yes, Ghana indeed is open for business, and we're hoping that our investment, that people will be bringing into this country will definitely yield some results. So we have more people coming into the country to invest, and we're looking forward to that. At the back page of the Ghanaian Times, it says Hearts brush aside young apostles charged for security breaches, and Kotoko overcome Legon Cities in Kumasi, and Bechem Chelsea clash in FA Cup quarterfinals. That's also Graphic Sports, Ghanaian Times Sports reporting on some of these matches that happened yesterday. Let's go to the custodian. The custodian says NPP will bounce back. NPP will bounce back. Afinyo Markin gives hope to party supporters. NPP will bounce back. And it's got Mr. Alexander Afinyo Markin, minority leader in parliament, captured over there. And Dumso torments Mahama's government. That's also another story that is captured on the front page of the custodian. Away from that, Parliament picks leaders of committees. And over there you have Abu Junapo with the ranking Foreign Affairs Committee. You have Dr. Brian Champon, ranking Security and Intelligence Committee. You have Kojo Opong Nkrumah, he's the ranking Economic and Development Committee. And you have Patrick Buama is the chairman of Subsidiary Legislation Committee. And these are the men that have been captured on the front page of the Custodian. And Dalai Lama to receive Gold Mercury Award 2025 today. That's also the Custodian reporting on some of the issues. Maybe we'll pick some of the topical issues and then we'll read them a bit to have an understanding. But let me continue with the front page. And I've got over here the News Center. The News Center says EcoBank Bank expands Elevate program to empower more women entrepreneurs. And sometime last week, we spoke about Elevate 2.0. We had our sisters from EcoBank representing and telling us exactly what it's all about. And this is a program that is dedicated for women. And they had a launch last week on Friday. And it's for all women who are engaged in SMEs and doing very well for themselves. It's something that every woman should take an advantage of. And so once you get to EcoBank and you ask about the Elevate 2.0, I'm sure you get all the details you need on that. Away from that, tight race for next GIS boss and immigration, boss, intense lobbying and maneuverings ongoing at the moment. On the front page, it has Edward Kofi Owusu captured over there. Evelyn Lochu is also captured. Francis Pamdeti is also captured as well. Prudence is also captured. That's the News Center. We have Samuel Basintale also captured as well. And Faisal Disu also captured. So these are the men who've been captured. Lord Kwesi Frifa is also captured on the front page as well. And he says it's a tight race for the next GIS boss. And I'm talking about the Ghana Immigration Service. All right. So, yes, we believe that there's some intense lobbying and maneuverings ongoing over there as reported by the News Center. Away from that, Dumso Junapo admits to fuel supply challenges and minority fires majority over absenteeism in Parliament. And Dr. Atuforsen to present 2025 budget tomorrow. Everybody's looking forward to this budget because it's the budget that would speak to a lot of things in this country, especially people hoping that, those taxes that were reported to be taken away are actually taken away. And so that also coming up tomorrow will be the D-Day. Now, I told you that prior to that, he's been engaging some market women. He was in Mokola, and then also did some millennials engagement yesterday on X, so we'll try and see what this would add to the budget tomorrow and the expectations of Ghanaians as well. Now, away from that, at the back page, it says Guinness Ghana pledges to partner local creators, champion their skills in communities, and NIB leadership calls for chief imams prayers during Ramadan donation. That's also at the back page of the News Center this morning. Now let's go to the Ghanaian publisher, and the Ghanaian publisher says minority leader cautions NPP against division, and Akufo-Addo defends JB Dankwa's legacy. And also meet Honorable Abena Osei Asare, first female chairperson of PAC, also on the front page of the Ghanaian publisher. Agaga in Team 4 Dual lead Defense and Interior Committee. That's also captured on the front page of the Ghanaian publisher. All right, so pretty much that's the front pages of the newspapers. And the major one will be the budget tomorrow. So let me just run through a bit as in a couple of minutes I introduce my guest in the studio. This one says the Minister of Finance, Dr. Kayson Atuforsen, will tomorrow present the government's first budget to Parliament, in which many of the initiatives meant to reduce the cost of living and doing business are expected to be announced. It will mark a significant milestone in the new administration quest to reduce specific taxes, undertake widespread economic and social reforms, and introduce initiatives that would stabilize the economy, generate revenue domestically, and spur shared growth. The 2025 budget and fiscal policy, which has already received cabinet approval, aims to address the hopes and aspirations of Ghanaians. The Minister of Government Communications, Felix Kwakye Ofosu, told the media last Friday, and that's That's the issue that a lot of people will be looking forward to. And like I said, prior to that, he's gone to some places, including the Mokola market, engaged with some women over there. And he also had an extra session. And people have lauded that initiative, you know, that for the first time they're seeing, and we've got some videos that we're going to be showing you for you to have a look at what happened when he visited these places. So the finance minister, Dr. Arthur Forson, in your shot, you can see him engaging with some market women over there, and this was Mokola when he went there. So let's take a look at some of the things that happened over there, and then I'll introduce my guest in the studio.
China. Maybe I must say dollar cost. Yes, we are in the dollar Ghana. I had this missing Mama, me unu. Namu na mukacha say me 30 years ni me to abada.
Ono ana wasoma me se member.
After we pe na me to abama me person on black. Nti ye pamucho.
In Ghana, our price are not because of the dollar. It's never to me stable. Every month, yes, your price now. The local markets, the consumers, interest in the house. Having problems in the face.
Yeah, my face problem this year. To me,
What is the problem?
The problem was the price has increased. It was 1,350, but now it is 1,750. Just 3 weeks.
Just 3 weeks.
Yes.
From 1,350.
Yes, 2,750.
2,750.
So I was returning back. Because
wow.
The way now the price I gave it to them over there, and now that it has increased about double, I can't afford that.
Good to see you. But that's it.
All right, so that's Dr. Arthur Forson in markets and places engaging with women as he presents the budgets for 2025 tomorrow. And some people have lauded this idea of visiting those places and engaging with the women. And we're hoping that it will reflect on what exactly the budget will be looking like tomorrow. And also yesterday around 8 p.m., he had an interaction with some millennials on X. And this morning he posted and says, a big thank you to the over 60,000 of you who joined our engagement on X. Your insights and questions are invaluable, and this is just the beginning of many more fruitful discussions. For those who couldn't ask their questions directly, we have shared a Google form to gather your views. We want to hear from you. John Mohammed's government cares and will continue to engage with you every step of the way. And he provided a link to that for those who also missed it to go and take a listen to what really happened during the engagement session yesterday at 8 p.m. on X. And these are also things that people are saying that it's a good way to start. But is it going to reflect on what exactly the economy will be looking like in a couple of months to come? That's a big question a lot of people are asking. And tomorrow will be the beginning of that decision, whether it's going to make the economy better or not. In the studio this morning, I've been joined by one of my guests, Nana Yaw Sarpong, is a political assistant to Alanda, the Movement for Change, and he's a family to this family, and he's joined us this morning. Let me say good morning to him, and then we'll continue with our conversation. Nana, a very good morning to you.
Good morning,
How are you
brother.
doing?
Good morning, my brother.
All good?
Yourself? What says founders?
I'm better. I mean, we can't complain. You had a great weekend. My weekend was in the wrong half. And I must say, I had a great
your
time.
weekend was not in Bunahafu. Which side were you?
I was in Sunyani.
That is Bono.
Yeah.
Yes, I lived in Sunyani.
You did?
For close to 9 years.
Is it?
Yes, and some part of it was in Doma, Wamfie, Abisim, and then Kukum. Kukum is in Ahafu, so basically. So I've lived in those areas for some time.
I see. I did a little over 3 years.
I did some towns in Doma, Inkro, and Sesreso, which is about 15 minutes walk to Côte d'Ivoire. And I remember
Very close, very close.
Yeah, those days there was no network and there was no lights. And so whilst we were there, your phone would be getting the orange, which is the network from Côte d'Ivoire. And if you wanted to make a call...
You get closer.
No, there was a tree that was on the park. I still can remember it very well. Very close to the police station. And that is where you would have to go, hang your phone, receive your call, and then when you are done, you move.
Wow. Those have been some great times.
Yes. It's a very quiet... In fact, when I was in school, and then we were having a discussion on how to actually stop or deal with the issue of rural-urban migration. One of the suggestions I made those times in school was that we should be able to disarm the capital, all right? And so when I went to leave or stay in Sunyani for some years, I agreed and I think I amended that statement I made. I said that probably the judiciary arm of government should be moved to Sunyani. It's a very quiet and serene environment. And I think those who first settled there did a great job. You will notice that their settlement system is well planned and very serene. And if we're able to move the judicial arm there, and probably the ministries will be left here, but we'll also find a place somewhere in the northern sector to move the parliamentarians. We move them there.
That would be good.
Spread it out, and so that not everything becomes so much centralized and
like we've seen. I think it would have been a better, way of looking at things for us, because really everything here in Accra.
Yes, because everybody is here.
Yeah.
No, I mean, if you are looking for the ministers, they are here. If you are looking for the MPs, they are here. If you are looking for the seat of government, it's here. If you want to go to court, it's here. So,
I don't know what Honorable makes of it, though. Honorable has joined us. Honorable Matthew, thanks for joining us this morning. I hope you're good.
I'm okay. Good morning.
Good morning, my brother, and thanks a lot for the time. I'm grateful.
Right. That's
how's the constituency doing?
Well, they are not doing bad, but some few communities have been hit by the storm, and one life is lost.
Oh.
So it's been very tragic for some of them, but largely it's okay. We are doing very well. My greetings to the people of Kwanda, and then my sympathies to the family in Buya. Unfortunately, they lost a soul, but we are one of the communities who also suffered the storm. They have been homeless, but they have their lives.
Once you have your life,
they have been homeless, but they have their lives. Yes, so it's unfortunate. But I think that I agree with him. For decentralization is the way to go. It's not about paper decentralization.
No, paper decentralization.
Where you have everything centralized in Accra. It makes Accra very choke.
It is.
Yes, that's
I
why
moved
sometimes.
to Sunyani and I felt some breeze of...
You see, when you leave Accra, it's like you are relieved of some kind of burden.
Yes.
You can wake up at
I left home 5:30.
I get it.
But I got here almost an hour.
Right, yeah.
And it's not just like anything, traffic. There's some few traffic, and then you find yourself wanting.
Yeah.
It's not a good call. So I agree with him. Just like he said about the decentralization. We have almost everything in Accra. It doesn't speak well of us. Now we have 16 regions. Initially it was 10. Now we have 16 regions. What are the departments? What are the ministries that we can send to some other places? We have South, North. Let's take it that way, generally. Then maybe you can talk about the central aspect of the country. Kumasi is there. Kumasi itself is becoming choked. So I'm not advocating that there shouldn't be anything there, but Kumasi itself is getting choked. Brown Hafo or Ahafo. Sunyani is a bit okay. Tamale is there. If you go to Bolaga is there.
Very quiet.
If you come to the Oti side, Hohoi or Ho is there. Some of these places, we can have state institutions that can be located there. And then Accra can be freed to some extent. But for now, Accra is too choked. Everything
Yeah.
And people try, even when you are coming to Accra, people say you are coming to Ghana. I remember when I was in my student days, when they mentioned those things, it pissed me off. And I always fight with those people who make those comments. Yes, they are going to Ghana.
They are going to Ghana.
Yes, they are going, as if the rest of us doesn't belong to Ghana. But funny enough, when I actually moved to Accra here, I can't find those people.
They say you can't
find them. I get what I'm saying.
I know they are in Accra. I've been here for quite some time. We only talk on phone or WhatsApp.
In 2 years,
Yes.
never been
You can't find them. You have a friend to visit the friend. It's even a problem.
Yeah.
Yes.
Traffic is just too much. And I think that is a good call. I don't know how we're going to actually implement it, but I think that it's something that we must start.
No,
Yeah.
and you see,
We must
it's
start.
actually what happens is that it would help us deal with the infrastructural deficit that we have. All right. So let's assume that we have the legislation, the legislatures in let's say Bolga or in Wa. Okay. Aviation, the traffic line is going to improve. Yes. I mean, you would have people setting up businesses there. You have the real estate people moving in there because you would have people, the hospitality industry is also going to boom around those areas. Now, it's going to even force to push tourism, because if you're having a meeting with let's say the parliamentary caucus or select committee on roads, and you would have to go to Accra, Bolga or Wa, and you have to go and do 2 days. You're not going to do the 2 days staying in your hotel.
Yeah.
No.
You understand? You would be forced to probably
refresh yourself,
go and look at the stone that is hanging or some traditional palace somewhere. You know, at the end of the day, they are also going to generate some revenue in those areas. And I think that
It's a good
actually
call.
also going to help the government or the governance system itself. Nigeria did it. You know, when they moved from, was it Lagos to Abuja, Abuja to Lagos, right? I mean, you notice that.
Yeah.
So now they have like 2 capitals. If you go to South Africa, they have 2 capitals, whether you like it or not. You understand? But if we put everything here, that's why they are under pressure.
Yeah.
Because as he's seated here, he's done 1 hour to come here. Now, today is Monday. He might not go for sitting, but he has probably committee. They've just finished with their list.
Yeah.
They would have to probably have a preamble meetings or something.
Sure.
You get it. He's an MP. He's going to lobby for projects. That is the truth of the matter. He's going to use this Monday to go. You understand? From ministry to ministry.
That's true.
Speaking of that, I would want us to tie that into our expectations with regards to the budget and see how we can, because like we rightly said, this place is becoming a problem right now, living here in this Accra that we all find ourselves. What kind of budget do we need to ensure that as much as we are having all of these things situated over here, we are able to also look beyond just making everything happen here in Accra? Is this something that we're hoping that, you know, the budget will address?
Obviously not. This is a policy that government must deliberately take up. And looking at tomorrow's budgets, I'm not sure this is part.
We haven't had that conversation. It's
I'm not
something
sure that
we're-
conversation has gone on. So I don't expect to see some of these things in the budget. But like you rightly said, for decentralization is the way to go. And it's going to free a whole lot of people when we are able to decentralize our institutions. Even the cost of living in Accra is going to come down. Land procurement is going to come down. Even the land guards automatically will lose their jobs because the demand for land in Accra obviously would have come down. Because if we have some ministries in some other regions, some people, group of persons will move there. Assuming MPs are located in the Western region, some people are going to relocate to those places. So it's going to reduce the pressure in Accra. But tomorrow's budget.
Before that, the engagement at the Mokola, maybe you want to comment on that, Dr. Fortin.
Yes.
Before you even delve into it.
I saw it. I saw it, I think yesterday, but he did it, I think
he did it last Friday, and then the weekend he did millennials conversation.
It's symbolic. That's what I see. It's symbolic. But in actual sense, I don't think that engagement will actually have any input in the budget.
Too late?
It's too late and it's too scanty.
How so?
Yeah, you see, how many people would he engage? Okay, but he's giving us something to talk about this morning. Okay, that is why I call it symbolic. It's not a bad idea. I will not condemn it. But I think that for you to properly engage the market folks, to pick their inputs, it should be a week. Okay, at least you have to have ample time. I like the one-on-one engagements, but the budget is just about to be delivered tomorrow. I don't see how he can gather enough data to introduce it or make some changes in the budget. But it's not a bad step. I'm not going to condemn it.
It's something we should encourage.
Yes, but there should be proper engagement. Although we hear these things on radio, we live with the people. Some of them, our sisters, our mothers are all in the market.
Yeah.
Our wives buy from the market. Some of this information is available. But your presence also, at least, gives some kind of addition. Like I said, we have a topic this morning to be discussing that the finance minister went to the market. I don't know if he's the first person who would have done that. I don't have any previous knowledge on that.
I think publicly we've not seen anybody.
Yes, I don't have I don't have a previous knowledge on this. But what I know is that it's a good thing. At least if he really wants to do it, I will encourage him to try and do it well. But if it's just for the cameras, that's at least. You know, this is our game. It's a mind game. Okay, it's a perception game. And I'm sure tomorrow he will mention it boldly. Are you getting me? That he's gone to the market. You see, some of these things, they are political tools that you can use to motivate or stimulate some kind of interest in the system. But for proper work, I will urge him to make time. Next time, maybe the next budget, it should make an ample time where proper engagements can be done. Not just meeting Guta and some other recognized bodies, but the market woman who sells tomatoes, the market woman who sells slippers, the ordinary man who is selling, what's the name? This Tampico and those kind. That kind of engagement, it makes it a bit refreshing. And I'm sure that he will get one or two things and factor it into the budget. But for now, I think that this one is the start, and I think it's symbolic. You see, he's also able to do this because, one, the accounts will say, Odofufro. Are you getting what I'm saying? Odofufro. Odofufro, they are there.
So this will be the first and last of it.
You see, when
it doesn't look so.
When we don't manage it well and then there is heat down there, you may not be able to go
back again.
But for now, the euphoria is still there. The honeymoon period is there. Ghanaians are expecting now there's not too much pressure on him. This is the first budget he's going to read, so he has that confidence to go there. But I think that is a good thing. I must say that it's a good thing. At least the people will feel part of the system. And it is not a bad thing. I think that is okay.
Okay. We'll get into the details and some of the taxes that you are hoping that they will be removed. But let me take your initial remark on that as well, that gesture of the finance minister.
Yes, thank you. I think just as Honorable has said, I saw it as something very significant. I mean, it sent a clear signal out there that he wants to, give the ordinary market woman, market man a say in the budget that he and his team are drawing for the good people of Ghana. I think that, just as Honorable said, maybe it was too late. It is possible it could have some input, or it could give him some input into the last minutes. But you see, how are the budgets drawn? You understand? I belong to the school of thought. I belong to that group that says that go into the market and get the details yourself and see how indeed you are faring out there, not just the paperwork. Now, we have the agencies drawing their budgets and presenting it to their sector ministries. Am I right?
Yes.
Then the sector ministries would present their budgets to, I think they have discussions with the parliamentary select committees on some of these matters. And then at the end of the day, the finance ministry is the final, I would say, the binder of all of
the
various
various
budgets. So at what point are these informations he's gathering going to impact the budget that has finally been dropped for him and for himself and his team to put together? You get me? So I think that, yes, maybe he wants to go out there to hear for himself whether or not what the agencies and the ministries have presented to him to look at and also to put together to present to Ghanaians is indeed the truth.
A reflection of what is on the ground.
Of what is on the ground. But if not, I think they could do better. Because if you go to these markets, they have groupings in the markets. They have the fish vendors, they have the cold store operators association, they have the taxi drivers, the GPRTUs, they have the pepper sellers association, they have the market queens, they have the textile queens and all of that. If you are able to meet them in those groups, then they are able to tell you their challenges. You understand?
Yeah.
So this one, you see that you go into a particular shop, talk to the person. That individual will just yell and just talk plenty. But when you have put them in groups, you are able to gather the information properly. You are able to gather the data that you need properly. If they're having issues with energy, they will tell you. Because if you go to meet cold store operators association or shop owners, they would be able to tell you the challenges in the cold store. You understand me? Yeah. Whether the tariffs are high, whether the lights are not consistent, whether they are having issues with their monies, whatever it is, they're able to tell you. If you go to the garment and textile and you meet those women who deal in the cloth, they're able to tell you the challenges they face at the borders, where people bring in counterfeits.
Yeah.
You understand me? At very cheap prices that is affecting them. How probably the ATLs and the GTPs are also having issues with them, and they are able, they are able to tell you the challenges they face in the various areas, and that it is at this point that it can have an impact on whatever that is on your table you are drawing. So I think he's taking a very good step, and I mean it's a good initiative. Let him improve on it. In his mid-year, I would want to see him meet people. Mostly the mid-year budgets are not
large ones.
But he should be able to meet the captains of industry, the AGI, the Commerce, the Importers Association, the Car Dealers Association, all of them. He should be able to meet them sector by sector. You understand?
Yeah.
And then he can draw whatever information he needs, and then he can sieve it properly. But, I mean, of course, he's done good. This is the first time, I've seen a finance minister go to the market to meet with the people. And I keep saying, I said, you get the rate, Abochi get the dollar. So if you find your way, you understand, into the shops of the Abochi, and you are able to convince him properly, you are able to even regularize or regulate properly, not paper regulation, properly. They are able to tell you their challenges, and you are able to draw their weaknesses and where to be able to handle them properly. That whatever dollar that is under their bed, they're able to pull it out and say, okay, for the love of Ghana, for us to have a stable economy and have a very stable forex, let us also put this one in the banks so that there will be enough in the banks, and the dollar CD would try to balance. I think that once he begins to meet them this way, he builds up the confidence of the people. He gives them some level of hope that there is a finance minister who is ready to listen to your cry. And once you're able to build that hope and confidence with the people, you are able to achieve your goal.
Very well. So let's try and move into some of the areas he spoke about. Now, he mentioned during the Twitter interview session he had with the millennials that the budget holds the key to economic recovery. And I want us to look at that statement. Are we very sure that this is the kind of budgets that when we are done mid-year or maybe by end of the year would be able to see massive difference in terms of what we're experiencing now and what we are about to experience?
Well, for budget, just like he said, it's what is coming to the floor to do is about telling us about our income and expenditure. That's maybe in summary
basic,
what the budget really is and how he intends to raise revenue to be able to meet that expenditure.
Yeah.
That's what he's coming to do. Transforming a country just is not a day. It's not just a day work. It takes time. So this is the first budget he's presenting to us under John Mahama. It's essentially John Mahama's government, the second term. This is the first budget he's coming to present. He's going to focus on their manifesto, what he intends to give Ghanaians within the first year in his governance. He's going to tell us the various changes that he's bringing under the various sectors of the economy. Education, what is it that they intend to do? The agriculture sector, what is it that they intend to do? The industrial sector, what is it that they intend to do? These are things that he'll be talking so much on. It's one thing presenting the budget, and it's another thing achieving what you have presented. Most budgets don't even get, excuse me to say, 70% or 60% of what they say. Most don't even get. But like I said, he told Ghanaians that, look, if I get the opportunity to come to governance, ABCD is what I want to do. The tax components that he's promised the people of this country. Everybody will be expectant to hear that. He's take off the e-levy. Everybody will be expecting that. He's taking off the betting tax. Everybody will be anxious to hear that. He's taking the emission tax. COVID-19 tax is taking it out. Everybody will be expecting. So in the event that he is not taking any of these tax, what are the reasons that he's going to ascribe to it?
At this point, do you think it's something they wouldn't want to try?
Oh, yeah.
We mentioned A, B, C, D, but unfortunately we can take three and
that's what I'm saying. That. So in the event that he's not able to take any of them, what are his reasons? And what is the way forward? If he's taking them, because I have listened carefully to him, and they are talking about more of tax compliance than introducing new taxes. So as a people, we are expecting that when he's taking off these taxes, what stopgap is he putting in place to be able to achieve the expenditure that is outlined?
Because you still need the revenue, you still need more money to be able to achieve the things.
So he talks about compliance, which means that we already have enough existing tax. It's just that maybe the tax net is not too open. And for that matter, those who are paying are limited. So, and secondly, people are also defaulting in payments. So as is coming, this budget is going to deal with those who are not compliant in paying tax. So this is my measure. This is the policy that will force you not to be able to evade tax. This is a new chapter I'm bringing. ABCD, the tax net is going to cut across the informal sector. And this is how I intend to raise revenue from the informal sector. For the formal sector, it's easy to get everybody to pay tax, but the informal sector is normally the problem. So we expect to see that kind of policy that will address the informal sector for him to be able to rake in enough revenue. But education sector, education under free secondary school has taken a chunk of our budget. Are they going to continue the free secondary school education policy the way they've inherited it, or they are bringing some modifications? And if they are bringing some kind of modifications, what are they bringing? Which area are they going to cut expenditure? Or which area are they going to offload expenditure to the students or the parents? All this is what we expect from the finance minister. Then the agri sector. We've all been talking about importation of almost everything that we consume in this country. The rice sector, the poultry sector, what are the policies? For the well-known Akukon Kitinkiti policy is something that has been championed. How are they going to implement it? How is the implementation going to be? You're talking about 55,000 households, something. Yeah. How are they going to go about it? Is it that you just get up, you are going to the agri ministry, the chickens are there, they give it to you, you go? How? These are the nitty-gritties that we all expect to see. But is that even enough to be able to address the deficit that we are talking about? All these are things that we expect the budget to tell us. So these are early days, just like all the time I say. After all this is presented, we look forward to see how we can change the structure of our economy. And that is where the bottom line really is. If you're able to change and begin to grow much in this country and begin to consume much in this country, then obviously we are all moving from the path of import-led to export-led. And I'm sure that is the only way we can develop.
It has been our major issue as a country anyway.
So let's wait and see some of the things that the finance minister is putting into the budget and how well they are going to be grounded on the ground and then get the wheels to move. That's the only way we can get to where we want to go.
Very well. What do you also make of the budget reading for tomorrow? Tomorrow is going to be the finance minister first time and the second term of President John Dramani Mahama will be reading the budget, and a lot of expectations. What do you expect to see? You want to see all the taxes taken out? In case it doesn't happen that way, what will be your, well, there's nothing much you can really do about it, but I'm sure you'll be a bit disappointed to know that some of the taxes they promised they're going to be taken out are still in the budget. We want to hear from you. Our WhatsApp line is active. You can send your messages over there. We're streaming live on Facebook. You can also go there and drop your messages. I'll be reading them very, very soon. So let me know, what are your expectations for the budget, 2025 budget, which will be read in Parliament tomorrow by the Finance Minister. We can't wait to hear from you as well. Let me come to you, Nana.
Yes, sir.
You see them taking all these taxes out, because that is one thing that the opposition party has always said. You promise you're going to take these taxes out. We don't want to see them in there.
Yes. I believe that basically we know that the budget, as Honorable said, has to do with the financial plan or the fiscal plan of the government. How the government is going to go about raising revenues as against the proposed spending for a fiscal year. This would definitely serve as a roadmap to government's allocations to these various sectors. One of the surest way to raising revenue for the activities of government is through taxes. Indeed, there are some very nuisance taxes in our system that we would be expecting that the government or the finance minister would touch on and deal with it, whether taking it off or not. But I also think, or I do believe, that looking at the situation Ghana finds itself, looking at the current economic situation Ghana finds itself, I believe if he's candid enough with Ghanaians, he could make a case and tell Ghanaians that indeed this is what we said. You understand me? When we're in opposition. Now coming into government and finding out the real numbers and the real situation on the ground, we have the view that maybe A, B, C, D should be for a year or two. And then when we have been able to stabilize the economy or been able to stabilize the country, then we can actually think about taking it away. I've been one of the advocates for the comeback of our road tolls, you understand? Because I believe that it is the surest way of raising revenue for the maintenance of our road network. I mean, if you go to other jurisdictions, you cannot drive without paying road tolls. We have these Burkinabe trucks and other trucks from Lomi and other places using our roads for free. I mean, we have to think about it again. You get it? So I would not be surprised if he comes to make a case that because of the current economic situation of Ghana, certain taxes which they spoke about would have to stay for a period of time. And he should be specific.
You think no matter how candid he is, the people are ready to listen to that?
But
This were a bank to have serious campaign
the
promises.
situation we find ourselves in. Were you not surprised when Labour Union accepted the 10% wage increase? That is because they understood the situation where Ghana is now. It is about being able to give to Ghanaians that presentation that would actually tell that real story. And you see, I do not want us to use tomorrow's budget reading to put emphasis on the just the negatives of Ghana. We all know where we are, okay? I would be much more interested in his plan on how to put into motion the 24-hour economy. Is an end product, though. So how is he going to do it? How is he going to deal with the issues of infrastructure, the infrastructural deficit that we have? I would want to hear more about the industrial agenda, the industrialization agenda that they have, because that is where we want to move to. I would want to hear about how the educational funding is going to come about, the much anticipated free SHS review, okay, and how we are going to fund it. A more sustainable funding. I would want to hear more on that. I would want to hear more on the debt management. And that is what I want to hear. How are we going to manage our debts that we have now vis-a-vis the IMF, the IMF structures that we have? How are we going to come out of it? I want to hear more on the agri sector, just as Honorable has said. You understand? How are we going to deal with food sovereignty? I do not want to call it food insecurity, but it is high time that we push an agenda not to only rely on cash crops, but we push an agenda to increase food crop production in this country so that we would have enough food in our system that we will not need to import any food again. We can't be importing tomatoes from Burkina Faso. I mean, how? So how are they going to fund their great ministry that the ordinary farmer would be interested in going into food production? You understand? How are we going to deal with the issue of our banking sector so that we would have access to credit, to loans, affordable loans? You understand? Currently, we have about, if you want a business loan, it's between 35 to 45%. how are we going to deal with that? That even if it is not coming down into the 20s or into the single digit as we would want, but how are we going to deal with it? You understand me? How are we going to deal with the issue of the forex? So that it will not just be the Abochi having the dollar. You get it? So if you are dealing with that, it means that you have to be dealing with the issue of import substitution. Because that's the surest way.
Yeah.
I would want to hear something that has to do with our aviation. I mean, do we have plans? Because it's one of the means we would have to, plus the railway, we would have to look at if indeed we want to go into industrialization, if indeed we want to push that agenda. So these are various areas. Yesterday, I actually joined the
X conversation.
The X conversation with the finance minister. I was on for I think an hour or so. The noise on the X, if you summarize everything, had to do with jobs.
Completely.
If you summarize everything,
Completely.
has to do with jobs.
These are young people who
are looking for opportunities to make a living.
Yeah.
You understand me? And the current economy of Ghana is not entrepreneurial friendly.
Yeah.
So if you look at the line of questioning, it all had to do with, I am a young person. How do I have access to loan? I am a young person, a graduate. How do I get a job? You understand me? I am a young person with a small company. How does government come in to help me grow? And what has to do with job creation? You see, people were not, people were not interested in the plenty English they were speaking. No specific. I mean, I loved his composure dealing with the matters. But we want to see action on the ground. You understand? So if we have banks that are able to declare very good profits, and government comes to say that, okay, now if a bank decides to allocate 20% or 30% of its profit, all right, to give out as loans to probably businesses or entrepreneurial businesses of young graduates. This is what government would also do for that institution. Now, if an institution or an industry in Ghana decides to recruit about 100 of fresh graduates who are done with their national service, all right, to be able to reduce unemployment, this is what government is going to actually also do for that particular industry whatsoever. You understand? So these are things that we would want to hear. These are practical ways to actually deal with the issue of unemployment that the young Ghanaian was talking about on the X space yesterday. How are we going to do it? We should have practical solutions. Because I see the budget, to me, if you'd ask me, the budget is not just a paper, it's a working paper. You are talking about how you're generating your revenue. You are talking about how you're going to use your revenue to deal with your spending. So it should be practical. So if they are going to recruit 100 people or 200 people, and you are giving them some benefits, we should know. And this would actually push most of these institutions to expand.
Especially knowing the role these millennials played in the elections. Yes. I mean, most of the parties were getting them involved in promoting them and all of that. So,
see, this budget should give us that hope that the economy will become more entrepreneurial friendly. It should give us that hope that the private sector is not going to suffer. It should give us that hope that if you decide to do business in Ghana, you won't wake up tomorrow fold up. This is what this budget should do.
Okay.
I mean, yes, people will say that it is too early in the day for us to talk about, that high level of expectations. But this is the foundation of it. This budget is the foundation of it. This budget is what will tell whether or not the John Dramani Mahama administration is going to indeed succeed or fail.
Okay. We've also been joined by Honorable Mohammed Abdulaziz, and he's a former MP for Mian constituency. Honorable, good morning. How are you?
Good morning.
It's good to see you back again.
Good to see you too.
Had a great weekend?
Yes, please. I had a great weekend.
Okay.
And good morning to my colleague, panelist here. I haven't seen Honorable in a very long time. I'm happy to see him again.
Sure.
He's been a very good friend of mine.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm good, Honorable.
You're in government now.
Yes, we're Honorable.
Oh, I didn't see that one. Just a reminder.
Just to feel fun.
Just take it easy on us.
Just a reminder
take it easy. Take it easy on us. We are barely some 2 months into office, so... but let's see how it goes.
Let's see how it goes. And speaking about that, I'm sure you're excited about what we're about to experience tomorrow with expectations with the budget tomorrow.
Good morning again. I'm very much excited, just like any other Ghanaian. We are expectant to see what the Honorable Minister for Finance, on behalf of the President of the Republic, would present to the Ghanaian public. Like Nana said, this will be our foundation budget. It will give the Ghanaian people the direction that President Mahama wants to take in the next 3 to 4 years to come. And I'm excited that the ministry, led by the minister, is engaging the Ghanaian public. You are aware that we are just coming out from the National Economic Dialogue, where various stakeholders were brought together under the one room. Industry players, captains of business, the political class, civil society organizations, and it was inspiring to see how people brought their talents, their ideas to bear on shaping a national economic process. I'm also aware that yesterday or so, that would have been 2 days ago, the Honorable Minister for Finance went to the market to engage with market women, Makola. I mean, that is refreshing that for the first time we have seen a minister trying to interact with the ordinary Ghanaian who bear the brunt of policies, and it is refreshing that Honorable Atuforsen is engaging the ordinary market people, because what they feel about the budget is very, very important. Their concerns are very, very important. And yesterday, in the evening, he took to the X-Space. I actually joined the platform for an hour or two, where he engaged with the Ghanaian youth on what their expectations are and how they want to see the budget run. And so, from what Honorable Atuforsen has been seeing all along, you can tell that the focus will be more on consolidating expenditure. I mean, that's where much of the focus will be, from what I can glean from what the Honorable Minister has been talking about. We think that there has been a lot of waste, a lot of unnecessary expenditures that we have incurred in the past. And as a responsible government, we will not want to burden the Ghanaian with more taxes, because the more revenue we want to raise from the Ghanaian people, you can only do that through taxation. And so there's no any immediate plans to burden the Ghanaian taxpayer with new tax handles. What we intend to do is to rationalize expenditure, cut off very unnecessary wasteful expenditure. And I'm also beginning to hear that capital expenditure would be hurt a bit, at least in the first year. Capital expenditure would be hurt a bit. We are aware that in the run-up to the elections, President Mahama and the NDC promised to repeal the e-levy the COVID tax, and the betting tax. The initial numbers puts the revenue loss to about 6.4 billion Ghana cedis. Yes, some have referred to it as a revenue loss, but we see it more as an incentive to the private sector, because if you want to expand the economy, if you want to generate the jobs that the youth are crying for, the best way to do is to target the private sector, because the private sector is the largest employer in the economy. It cannot be the public service or the government. And so if you give them some reprieve in the area of e-levy, COVID tax, and the betting tax, I'm sure manufacturers will have some spare resources to be able to expand and to recruit more young people into the worker space. And so that is very, very important. I also heard the minister say that considerable attention will be given to the agriculture sector. That is important, because if we want to deal with the food importation, the numbers says that we import about $2 billion worth of food into this country. If we want to deal with it, then we must be investing into agriculture. I want to see what attempts will be made to construct the Palugu irrigation dam. That is estimated to be around 1 billion Ghana cedis. That is possible. President Mahama would be able to do that. If you remember what he did for the case of the Atuabo gas plant, about $1 billion, it tells you that President Mahama would be able to mobilize the 1 billion Ghana cedis that is required to construct the Palugu Dam, and that will be able to deal with the importation of tomatoes. How on earth can we be importing tomatoes from a Sahelian country like Burkina Faso for all this time? And so let's see how we can be able to see the investment into the agricultural sector. We're also aware of the 10 billion big push that was announced in our manifesto. That will see some light. But if you ask me, I tried to engage the minister on the space yesterday. I think that 10 billion over 5 years will give you around $2 billion expenditure into the infrastructure for five years. I would want to see much of that go into social infrastructure, the area of health and education. As for commercial infrastructure, I would want government to leverage more on public-private partnership. Somewhere in 2020, we passed a law on how to run PPPs in this country. Since then, we haven't been able to utilize that law. I want to see that the $10 billion over the 5 years should be directed towards social infrastructure, whilst we leverage on PPP. Yes, whilst we are dealing with the revenue, the tax handles, like I talked about the e-levy and the betting tax and what have you, road tolls will also be reintroduced. And I'm sure that when we introduce a digital road tolls, they must be charged. We must charge realistic prices for them. Because look, if we need the infrastructure, we must be willing to pay for it. And I can imagine Honorable driving his Land Cruiser through the Temamoto way, and he's charged only 5 Ghana cedis or even 2 Ghana cedis. At least people who are able to drive luxurious cars should be able to pay huge amounts of road tolls to be able to deal with the
Land Cruisers have to pay more?
Not just Land Cruisers. What we would normally term as luxurious cars should be charged more so that we can be able to deal with our road infrastructure. And so the 2025 budget will be our foundation budget. The expectations are high. We would want to see what will be said about the issue of the 24-hour economy. There will be a hint about the National Women's Development Bank. Most of the campaign pledges that we made would find expression in this 2025 budget. What I also hear President Mahama talked about when he appeared before Parliament some weeks ago was the issue of the payment to assembly men and women. You know, that one, I wish we could shelve that one for a moment, because you see, you are trying to cut expenditure, and about 80 to 90% of our assemblymen are already on government payroll. They are already engaged in some formal work of a sort, especially that we have not been able to carve out some functions for them. Let's see how assemblymen can help in the registration of births and deaths. That will clean our the Ghana card system. Let's see how they can facilitate the collection of bills, either water or electricity bills. I mean, whatever allowance we want to pay to them must come with some responsibility. It shouldn't just be that once we're elected as an assemblyman, we are entitled to some. Honorable is here. He's paid the monthly salary not because he was elected as MP, but because he goes to Parliament to work. And so let's tie some functionality to whatever allowances we want to pay to them. And I don't want us to fall into the trap of the free senior high school where they try to implement almost everything in the first year and ended up hurting the economy. So if I had my own way, that payment of allowances to assemblymen and women could come in the second or the third year to see how government will be able to stabilize before taking on such responsibilities. But let's hear how tomorrow would look like.
Okay. Let me also hear from my viewers and what their expectations are for tomorrow. Teacher Kojo Tepa says President Mahama should know that Ghanaians voted for him to get on with the job. Instead of always complaining about everything, he should stop complaining because we are aware of his incompetence. But we voted for him because we thought maybe this time around he will prove the doubters wrong. Greetings to Chairman Odino Kweku. Let me go to this one over here. It says, good morning. The resetting agenda proposed by the President John Dramani Mahama is indeed a step in the right direction. It's crucial that everyone gets on board and takes a keen interest in this agenda, from parliamentarians and government officials to the security services, public and civil servants and more. Parliamentarians, especially MPP MPs, who should reconsider their boycott intentions and engage constructively with the agenda. Subvented agencies, these agencies play a critical role in implementing government policies and should be actively involved in the resetting agenda. Government officials, their support and cooperation are vital to driving the agenda forward. Security services, the military, police, and other security agencies should be part of the resetting agenda to ensure national stability and security. Public and civil servants, as the backbone of the government machinery, their involvement is essential to implementing the agenda. The MPP MPs should stop their boycott intentions and engage more constructively with the agenda. With or without their support, President Mahama and the NDC are likely to push forward with their plans, given their majority in Parliament. Note the resetting agenda is not. The resetting agenda is not. Okay, I think I lost you a bit. The resetting agenda is not just a government initiative, it's a national movement aimed at rebuilding the economy and promoting sustainable growth. It's essential that everyone works together to achieve this goal, and Timothy sent in that. We, the skilled workers in the budget, play a vital role in Ghana's development in their contributions to construction, infrastructure development, and other sectors, such as the like of tiles layer, welders, masons, carpenters, and other. It's like we always forgetting in the budgets, but yet we play an important role in the development of our country called Ghana. I hope this time the JM government will remember us. Sometime in an institute may need skills workers, but no, you would see only book-long people. I'm not impugning the hard workers, officers, but skills workers can please in this government sector. Okay, Solomon, I'm trying to figure out exactly, but I think I get the impulse of what you're trying to say. Alas Assessor from Zeno Central says, good morning to everyone. I think the actions of the finance minister interacting with our market women and men is a good step in the right direction as he carry everybody on board in order to present to us a workable budget, hopefully tomorrow. Next time, I urge him to interact with the warehouses and some of the manufacturing industries as well. Okay, we hope that it continues. Good morning, Joy Prime. The visit to the Mokola market by the finance minister was a step in the right direction. This is the second time we're seeing this, except that this time around the visit happened after cabinet have already approved the budget, so I don't think the impact will be that much. We are keenly waiting to see what happens to our economy after this maiden budget comes into operation. We expect nothing but the positive impact in our pockets and daily life. Abdul Majid in Kumbungu sent in that. And Good morning, KMJ. I'm expecting the 24-hour economy to roll fast, so we, the youth, will get jobs to do. The unemployment in this country is not normal because all government agencies are free from employing. So what should the graduates do after completing school? Unemployment situation must be the first to look at in this budget. The country cannot allow the youth to continue begging for survival. JDM must do something for us. We are hoping to hear good news from this budget. Okay. Let me go to Akosi Gariba from Tamale. He says, good morning, KMJ. I congratulate the finance minister for visiting the market to have one-on-one interaction with the market people. I will also urge the other sector leaders to visit the ordinary Ghanaian to have regular interaction with them to narrow the gap between the citizens and the leadership of Ghana. However, I'm reminding the finance minister to cancel the following levies in the budget: e-levy, COVID levy, betting tax. I wish the finance minister well. My regards to Dr. Mahmoud Baumia. Okay. This one over here says, good morning. Please tell Madam Jean Mensah, the chairman of the EC, to kindly pay the temporary EC officials for the work we did for them on December 7, 2024 elections. It's been 3 months now, as the money's not been budgeted before the election from ED. So this is I think the fifth time I'm actually reading this from him. And I don't know. The other time they said they were going to handle this. I don't know why it's not been handled yet. Master Rahman Tuna says, good morning, KMJ. Please, Ghanaians are not against taxes. What we are against is the misuse of our taxes. If they will tax us and not use it to fly private jets and bath on us, why not? And that's Master Rahman sent in that one. Mr. Majid, they will do your birthday wishes for you, okay? Good morning, sir. It's good to see you in your colorful kente cloth, but learn to adorn the kente like Dr. Nkrumah at a Mills and Rollins, who look majestic in kente over under garments. Kente without undergarment looks very casual, like wrapper or sleeping cloth. Kente without undergarment is informal, as it exposes the bare chest, wet armpits, and other vital stats. Let's add value to our culture and make it more elegant.
But that is wrong.
That is wrong.
He's just speaking from a different view.
He said that if you wear an undergarment, it represents a different culture. And
this
in your introduction, if I heard you right when I was coming, you said that you are representing the Ashanti.
Yes, and this is exactly what we do
today. So
this is he represents some aspect of culture.
Lost. I mean,
so he should not try to use his culture to condemn somebody's
yeah. Good. And now you have your response. Thank you, my honorable, for doing justice to that for me. And this one says, KMJ, good morning to you and your guest. Now that the finance minister has visited our mothers at Mokola Market, after tomorrow we expect the reduction of fuel price. Fuel prices, cement price reduction, including KK, which they promised us during the campaign season from Mohammed Ibrahim Yendi. There's a lot of work for the NDC, I tell you. Good morning, KMJ. Seeing the finance minister engaging market traders is a very good move. Same with his engagement on X. Something good for the cameras. Oh, no. The reality is that the finance minister, together with government, had already prepared the budget before visiting the market and on X. Some of these small moves build confidence, even though nothing sufficient is going to come out of it. Same reason why Ghanaians, including members of the ruling party, called for the removal of Ken Ofori-Atta, not necessarily for a new finance minister to bring any major change, but at least to build confidence in the economy. I'm looking forward to get my niece tertiary fees paid back as promised by the government, in line with government stress-free fees for first-year tertiary. KMJ, our president seems to be mingling more with military leaders across Africa. Food for thought. Oh, but that one, you know, we can't do without them. They can't do without us. We're all neighbors, and so it's not for any bad intention, okay? Good morning, KMJ and your panelists. I'm Big Alaska from Garu Tempani. I agree with my brothers in your studio about Accra being choked with all manners of creatures. Anytime I have to travel to Accra, I always develop a headache because how to get into the city and how to leave is always my biggest problem. Leaders are not helping us because if buildings were demolished to make way to build a national cathedral, then they are not helping us to ease traffic. This could be built in a virgin land to make that area a city too. When I'm traveling from Bolga through Tamale to Techiman, I always ask myself why this land is lying down. Well, the day I become president of Ghana, I will move the capital to a virgin land. I'm done. Okay. I pray your dreams come true. And when you do, please make me the vice president. Good morning, KMJ. Tell Honorable Matthew he should keep on with his hard working in Pandai constituency. Even though I'm a strong NDC member, but I support him because of his hard work, and I promised him to support him his campaign in 2028 election. I'm Samuel Nasi from Black Jai, but currently in Accra. Okay, and that's for you, Honorable. Let me do the last one and then we'll move on. Musa Bato in Aswazi says, first of all, let us commend President Mahama for his visionary leadership in tasking as finance minister to ensure that the maiden edition of the 2025 budget reflects the realities of the Ghanaians by prioritizing first-hand engagement with market women. This approach marks a historic moment where, for the first time, Ghanaians are actively featuring in the central governance budget process. This demonstrates a commitment to governance that truly listens to the people and seeks practical solutions to salvage livelihoods. And that's Musa on that one. Maybe I'll take the honorable. People believe that it's too late. It's just too late for us to have had this engagement. I think it's run through most of the comments that we've seen, and it will not really impact on the budgets in any way.
So what you notice is that, you see, our problems relative to the economy hasn't changed. But the ways of dealing with them would obviously change. I listen to some people who question the essence of the national economic dialogue, saying that, look, we know what the problems are. But what solutions have we proffered in the past? How have we been able to deal with them? That is the most important thing. And to make people feel part of the process is important. In fact, if for nothing at all, the optics, the fact that the Minister for Finance went into the market to engage with the ordinary Ghanaian.
But is that what we need in solving the problem? Just the optics?
No, I'm saying...
When maybe it could have been done a bit earlier.
No. You see, even as of today, some changes can still be done to the budget.
Possible.
Oh, yes, it is. It is. I mean, honorable is here. There have been instances where taxes are removed or inserted just some few minutes to the minister appearing before a parliament. And so from yesterday up to
maybe
even this
midnight,
night today, some tinkering can still be done to the budget. Why? When the minister went to Makola, all that they were talking about was the dollar. The dollar is unpredictable. You know, they are unable to plan. Don't we know that? We do. But it's to validate what the concerns are and to deal with it. And interestingly, the minister had already said, even when he appeared before Parliament for the vetting, that his main target or areas of focus would be to stabilize the currency, reduce inflation, manage public debt, and to allow the economy generate employment. And so, nothing new, but it was just to validate what we know to be the problems of the market women. And so, like I said, if for nothing at all, the mere fact that an ordinary market woman would have the opportunity to deal or to speak with the finance minister is important. Somebody may want to think that it's not important. I listen to some colleagues in the NPP say, why would they elect a government to now come and be asking them what the problems are, and that if you knew what the problems were and you won elections, why don't you run with it? No. Inclusivity is very, very important.
So this is something we'll be seeing quite often.
Oh, yes. I mean, that's why you see presidents engage the media from time to time, apart from President Akufo-Addo, who did that only in his first year. The President Akufo started this media engagement, and it has been with us. That is not to say that they don't know, presidents don't know what they are doing. In fact, you know the destination, but you are driving a truck or you are driving a vehicle with passengers. It's good to carry them on board. Let them know where you are taking them to, and seek for their opinion. That is important. Like I said, even this night, I'm sure some tinkering can still be done to the national budget, don't discount the importance of engaging the young people on social media. Don't discount the importance of the Minister for Finance engaging the market women. Don't discount the importance of the government organizing a national economic dialogue forum. These are all important vehicles to carry the Ghanaian along. That's important. We are not managing this country just for ourselves as a government. We are managing this country for the people of Ghana. And so there's nothing wrong with engaging with them. But I would want to agree with you that maybe in subsequent years, these things can be done a little bit earlier so that you are not seen to be rushing these engagements. I mean, amount to the national budget would be okay.
Yeah.
But also take into account the fact that the budget for the first 3 months, the first quarter, appropriations in lieu of estimates in lieu of appropriations, yes, was done by the previous regime.
Yeah.
And so the timing is important that we're in government. I'm sure when we settle as a government, somewhere November this year, we will be preparing the budget for 2026. And that's when we'll have enough time to be able to do all this house cleaning. When I say house cleaning, engaging these stakeholders before presenting the budget. I think that should be a recurring feature, not just for the NDC, but even for subsequent, in the event that Honorable Nko comes back to power in the next 20 to 30 years. They should have that, they should also take on that path of engaging the ordinary Ghanaian. I think that's important.
Great.
But I agree with you about the time. It probably a month or 2 weeks to the presentation of the budget. I agree with you.
Okay. Maybe we can add a few things to it. I'm looking at the time and I'm thinking maybe we might not be able to do our second topic based on the time, but I'm still trying to get some clearance from our producers. But if you want to add anything to this one.
Yes. I do not want to agree with my honorable MP when he says that they would be settling in November. I do not want to agree.
I didn't say that.
You didn't want to hear that? Anything?
No, what I said is that if we are settled properly as a government, the next budget will be presented in November this year. By which time would have
exactly.
That's what I'm saying. I do not want to agree with you on that.
Okay.
I don't want to agree with you on that because, you see, 3 months in government, you understand, is enough time to at least know your way forward. You get it.
I think we are 2 months.
You have. No, I personally do not want to engage in the number of days or months a government.
This week there will be 60 days.
What is important is the structures in place. You have had the opportunity to appoint your ministers. You have the opportunity to appoint your deputies, the heads of agencies and other establishments and other entities and all of that. That is what is most important. Once you have been able to do all of these appointments, once they have been in their various offices for a month or two, okay, it should be enough time for them to know the real deal.
They don't need November to settle.
You understand? That's why when I was in my first presentation, I said that this budget becomes a foundation. There would be an opportunity to present a mid-year budget.
Yeah, you're right.
There would be an opportunity to present a mid-year budget. And so if this is a foundation, and listen, here, who sit down? Sorry, maybe I can't feel.
No, it's okay. Ghana man,
if you are building, okay, one of the most important areas is your foundation. Okay, how deep you dig, and how much material you use to fill, and how you build your foundation. Then you come to the pillars. You get it. Now, we are not talking about the roofing yet, or the decking. So, if your foundation, you get it wrong, you are doomed. So if you give the impression that you are this is just a foundation, so we shouldn't worry. You know, when we get to the next thing we are going to talk about the decking and the roof, you know, because you're back to back. Ghana, we have only 3 years, honorable, to govern. 2027 to 2020, the end of 2027 or mid 2027 up is politics. Campaign. So if any government has anything to do for the betterment of this nation, it is 2025 now, 2026. Mid-2027, you're TSM. If you don't start, you lose out. You get it.
Yeah.
So that is why I have a problem when our minority group, okay, try to play so much of politics with the strength they have now, because we need to allow the space for governance.
I'm sure we are playing politics.
We need to allow the space
I'm surprised.
for governance. You get it. This year, next year, at least you can do your technicalities and all those things to hold them and other things. But let's do proper governance this year. As for me, I would say and say it again. Tomorrow would determine whether or not the John Dramani Mahama led administration would succeed or fail. Because tomorrow we would understand whether there would be infrastructure. Tomorrow we would understand whether there are being things put in place for the 24-hour economy to go. Tomorrow we would understand whether our health sector would have a turnaround. Tomorrow we would understand whether we are having an industrialization agenda and moving from the Georgesburg kind of economy. Tomorrow we would understand whether or not with the overwhelming support that the NDC and John Dramani Mahama got from Ghanaians was worth it. That's what it is.
All right, let me read some messages over here. This one says, is from Boo Dog, and it says the local market is costing a lot. And Ben Yel says that this is just political plans. It will not reflect on the budget. Kasim Abud Sadiq says tomorrow's budget is what we call robbing Peter to pay Paul. E-levy and betting tax will definitely go, but it will rebrand it. Like Honorable Matthew said, the problem of generating revenue is the informal sector of the economy. And e-levy is definitely the solution, but unfortunately, political points have been scored by the current government. I know too well that the current government would wish they don't scrap the e-levy, but they dare not due to how they have criminalized it during campaign. Timothy Anabila says that as we look to the future, the 2025 budget must be a transformative blueprint that reignites hope and prosperity for all Ghanaians. To achieve this, we must learn from past mistakes and implement bold, innovative strategies to drive growth, create jobs, and ensure economic stability. The previous government's mishandling of the financial sector led to the collapse of several banks and financial institutions, resulting in widespread job losses and economic hardship. To rectify this, we must take immediate action to revoke the revocation of licenses for these institutions, allowing them to operate and create the jobs once more. Implement stringent regulatory measures to prevent future collapses and ensure accountability. Agriculture is the backbone of Ghana's economy, and it's imperative we prioritize its growth and development. The 2025 budget must allocate substantial funds to support the agricultural sector, focusing on irrigation projects, mechanization, and farmer training. Implement policies to encourage all-year farming, reducing reliance on seasonal rainfall and increasing crop yields. To achieve food security and reduce imports, we must invest in poultry and animal farming. The 2025 budget should provide. This one is actually written another budget for for us to actually go through. So, Timothy, we appreciate your way of putting us, in that space. Let me go to Sameh Boakye, and it says tomorrow marks a crucial day as the finance minister presents the first budget, while the minister's effort to understand market dynamics through a recent visit to is commendable, but the focus should shift to addressing skyrocketing prices of cement, gas, and electricity bills. We anticipate the minister will deliver on the promise to significantly reduce these costs. Furthermore, the abolition of betting, e-levy, and COVID-19 taxes is highly anticipated. The finance minister's campaign promise of a 6,500 cocoa price should be exceeded. We expect the minister to provide actionable solutions rather than excuses. As Ghana approaches the 2028 elections, there's a need for tangible progress as paramount with regards to proposal. Okay, let me go to this one from Charles. These men are matured in presenting their case. No insult. Thank you, Joy Prime. First time enjoying political show. Okay, thank you so much to as well, and we appreciate our guests in the studio this morning. Let me have your these are very honorable, distinguished.
They are senior people. He's been majority chief whip.
Yep.
For my brother here, if he does any insult, young people, the chief will follow it the way you. He can't go to his community. He's a royal. He can't come and sit here.
It's not possible.
It's not possible.
We don't have our own.
It's not possible.
That's a very mature way. We don't
Yes. I got to know him, and so
We've been very
who
good.
can disagree?
Sure.
Yes.
It's normal.
I think I've listened to my uncle and then my good friend too. It's been a while. We've seen each other. I think, you see, there is a social contract between Ghanaians and the NDC now. It's a very important thing. And it will be very suicidal if they want you run away from that social contract. In as much as we have a country to develop, I have said it and I will continue to say it that, look, the MPP government got certain policies wrong. I will not run away from it, especially when it comes to debt management. But if you take all other economic indicators, apart from the inflation, that we left something behind, which is not the best as compared to what we inherited. All economic indicators are not bad. Never. Our reserves are better than what we inherited. Our primary balance better than what we inherited. Apart from the sectors that I'm talking about, all other indicators and inflation, we are not doing bad. So they succeeded, obviously, to come to power with whatever information or contract they've signed with the Ghanaian people. I am with them. I will never run away with that. And I think that as a minority, we've not been too political. Honestly, we've not been too political. No, we've not been. It's just that we will resist intimidation. And we will resist intimidation. And if in our attempt to resist intimidation, it will be political, so shall it be? Oh, yes, because obviously, if you have 88 members sitting down and facing 187 members, obviously, it's intimidating enough. Are you getting what I'm saying?
And the mere fact that they have numbers.
Yes, and then they know because of those numbers, they always want to. In that case, we will resist that one. We are out for that. But we've not been too political. We've been managing and championing their cause and following them. That's we have done so successfully.
I don't think that your leader is overdoing.
He's not overdoing. He's not overdoing. He's the minority leader, and most at times, the opportunity he will get on the floor to speak, I will not get it. He knows very well that if a front bench is up, there's no way the speaker will ignore. But if you from behind, the speaker can ignore you at any point in time. So sometimes the views he's carrying our views, because if you rise up, speaker will not allow you. So you see him most often talking. if the speaker will allow most of the backbenchers to come in, his stock will reduce. That is it. But like we're all talking about the budget today, that social contract that exists, where they have to abolish this, we are going to do this, we are going to... You see, we all knew Ghana before elections were held. So sometimes when they come and they say, we have now seen what is in the books, where were you? Were you not in this country? Were you from Russia? Or where are you from Russia? You were in this country. You knew the prices of fuel at the pump stations. Didn't you know? You knew inflation. Didn't you know? You know that we were going through DDEP. You knew. All these things are information that you had before coming into governance. So if today you think that, oh, you can say one thing and the next day this, it's up to you to go and explain that to your people who voted for you. You said you were going to pay level 100 students. Their fees was going to be paid. You knew very well that elections were held in December. And by the time you take governance, the children would have gone to school. Who didn't know that? You knew that. But you said you were going to absorb the level 100 students fee. So if you come today, you are not able to pay, and you say the children should go, and later you are going to do. It is like you've deceived the parents and the children themselves, because you told them you were going to pay, they voted for you, only for you to come and give excuses. I don't expect, or we don't expect this kind of excuses in the budget. We don't, and we don't expect to see new taxes. And for the road toll thing, from day one, it has been part that when they come, they will reintroduce road tolls. Day one, we knew. So Ghanaians knew that road tolls were going to be part of this budget. Nobody's running away from it. But I also think that it's not those who drive luxurious cars that must pay higher road toll charges, because you don't even damage the road. Like the Articulata drivers, the Kia drivers, and they actually cause damage to the road. I agree that realistic charges must be placed on everyone. Okay. But the heavy-duty vehicles and the Burkinabe vehicles and all those people, they are the people that must pay much. I have my issue when they said they were abolishing the road. I have issues with it. I wasn't, but who am I? You can only stand somewhere and criticize. But I don't think that there was the need for us to abolish the road tolls. Yes, traffic was there. We could do it better. And if they come with the orthodox way of collecting road tolls again, people will complain. Maybe a modern way of collecting road tolls. Okay. Are you getting what I'm saying? Yeah. Where we are applying technology. And I don't believe that you should pass through road tolls before you pay road toll. I don't believe in that. If you own a car in this country, you should pay road tolls because you drive on the road. So assuming I'm driving within Accra and I don't go through where there are road tolls, it means I shouldn't pay road tolls. I don't see that. So if they are coming out with some modern and digital way of collecting the road tolls, I am with Odette.
My time is up. We have to go right now. Yes. Honorable, you can only do 30 seconds for me.
30 seconds. Well, I just want to say that we would respect the social contract that we have with the Ghanaian people. President Mahama and the NDC does not intend in any way to betray that trust that was given to us. But when Honorable talked about bequeathing to President Mahama very good economic indicators except for inflation.
Inflation and the debt management.
I'm sure Honorable had forgotten that the dollar that they came to inherit was around 4 Ghana cedis. They left the dollar.
The exchange rates.
Yes, they left the dollar almost around 17 Ghana cedis.
That's 15.
It wasn't 15. It was around 17 Ghana cedis.
50.
I mean, unemployment that you inherit around 8% was around 14%.
My brother, as for the Cook unemployment figures, there is no proper unemployment figures in this country. Don't cook them.
Let me just chip in this.
Don't cook them.
I think that we should all agree that social contracts evolve. You understand? And once anything evolves,
when you rode on that to get power,
it's reviewable.
It cannot.
And so, no, I just want us to understand.
Maybe in some context, not in the political context.
No, Honorable, let's be realistic. Let's be realistic.
Not in the political context.
Let's just be realistic.
Won't betray that trust. That one, you can be sure that President Mahama, with all his experience, with this overwhelming mandate, will not betray the trust.
And as for the road tools, those driving the sports cars, they should see those ones are very heavy.
Heavier than those.
They are heavier than my CRV, and
Obviously.
yet I pay what we used to pay.
You pay 50.
I'll pay 5. They pay the small one. They were paying like the CRV was being paid
As a four-wheel.
As a four-wheel.
Yeah, every four-wheel was paid.
The CRV four-wheel.
So I'm grateful for your time, Honorable. Thank you so much for making time. We're looking forward to the budget reading tomorrow, and we'll come back tomorrow after to look at what we hear and see if indeed